The stars looked peaceful from the bridge of the horizon. Captain Ho stood near the main window and watched them shine. After 20 years in space, he still found them beautiful. Each one was a sun. Each one might have planets. Each one might have life. The Horizon was not a warship. It was a medical transport vessel. The ship carried medicine, food, and doctors to places that needed help. Ho had chosen this life because he believed in helping others. War had taken too much from the galaxy. He wanted to give something back. "Captain, we are 3 hours from the colony," said. She sat at the navigation station. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel. She was young, only 28 years old, but she was the best navigator Ho had ever worked with. "Good," Ho said. "How are the supplies?" "All secure," answered one from the engineering station. He was a big man with strong hands. He had worked on ships his entire life. His father had been an engineer, his grandfather too. Ships were in his blood. "The medical containers are at perfect temperature. The food supplies are fresh. We are ready." Ho nodded. The colony had been hit hard by a disease outbreak. 3,000 people lived there and half of them were sick. Without medicine, many would die. The Horizon was their only hope. "Sir, I should mention something," said. Her voice was careful now. "Our route takes us through the edge of space." The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew about They were a powerful empire that controlled over 200 star systems. They had ruled their part of the galaxy for thousands of years, and they did not like humans. Humans were new to the galactic community. They had only been traveling between stars for about 300 years. To ancient species like humans were children. Worse, they were children who spread too fast and talked too loud. "We have permission to pass through," Ho said. "The Galactic Council approved our route. They signed the agreement." "They signed many things," said Min. She was the ship's chief medical officer. She had gray hair and kind eyes, but her voice was hard. "They do not always honor what they sign." "We are a medical ship," Ho said. "We carry no weapons. We are no threat to anyone. Even they would not attack a ship bringing medicine to sick people." Min did not answer. She just looked at him with her knowing eyes. She had seen much in her 60 years of life. She had seen species do terrible things for small reasons. The Horizon continued on its path. The ship was not fast. It was not built for speed. It was built to carry cargo safely across long distances. The journey to colony would take another 3 hours. Ho went to his small office behind the bridge. He sat at his desk and looked at the picture on the wall. It showed his wife and daughter. They lived on Earth in a small house near the sea. His daughter was 10 years old now. She wanted to be a ship captain like her father. He missed them. Every day he missed them. But this work was important. People needed help and he could give it. That was worth the sacrifice. An alarm broke his thoughts. It was loud and sharp. Ho jumped up and ran back to the bridge. "What is it?" he demanded. His face was pale. Her hands shook as she pointed at the main screen. "Ships, Captain, many ships coming fast." The screen showed the sensor data. Ho felt his heart stop. There were 40 ships approaching, 40 warships. They were military vessels and they were heading straight for the Horizon. "That cannot be right," one said. "Check the sensors again." "I checked 3 times," said. "The readings are correct, 40 warships. They will reach us in 20 minutes. Ho stared at the screen. His mind tried to understand. Why would they send 40 warships against one medical transport? It made no sense. The Horizon had no weapons. It had no military value. Destroying it would gain them nothing. "Open a channel," Ho ordered. "Broadcast on all frequencies." "Press the controls. Channel open, Captain." Ho straightened his uniform. He took a deep breath. "This is Captain Ho of the human vessel Horizon. We are a medical transport ship carrying supplies to colony. We are traveling on an approved route under Galactic Council protection. We mean no harm to anyone. Please respond." Silence. The seconds felt like hours. Then the screen flickered and a face appeared. They were not pleasant to look at. They had gray skin and 4 eyes. Their mouths were wide and filled with small, sharp teeth. This one wore military armor decorated with symbols of rank. He was a commander of high status. "Human vessel," they said. His voice was cold and hard. "You have entered space without permission. You will surrender your ship and crew immediately." "We have permission," Ho said. He kept his voice calm. "The Galactic Council approved our route. The Empire signed the agreement 6 days ago." They made a sound that might have been a laugh. "The Council means nothing here. Their agreements mean nothing. You are in space and you will obey law." "What law have we broken?" Ho asked. "You exist," they said. "Your species spreads across the galaxy like a disease. You take planets that belong to others. You poison every place you touch. They have decided to teach humanity a lesson. Your ship will be that lesson." Ho understood then. This was not about the horizon. This was not about their route or their mission. This was about sending a message. They wanted to show the galaxy what happened to humans who traveled too far from home. "We are a medical ship," Ho said. "We carry doctors and medicine. There are sick people waiting for our help. Children are dying." "Then more will die," the commander said. "Perhaps humans will learn to stay in their own space." The screen went black. The transmission ended. Ho looked at his crew, was crying silently. One's hands were clenched into fists. Min just sat quietly, her face empty of emotion. "Can we run?" Ho asked. "No," said. "Their ships are faster. They will catch us before we reach safe space." "Can we call for help?" "I have been trying," one said. "No human military vessels are close enough. The nearest one is 12 hours away." 12 hours, they had 20 minutes. Ho walked to the center of the bridge. He looked at each of his crew members. There were only 15 people on the horizon, 15 humans against 40 warships. The math was simple. They were going to die. But how they died mattered. "Open a broadcast channel," Ho said. "Not to everyone, every frequency, every relay station, every ship that can hear us." Looked confused, but she obeyed. "Channel open, Captain, broadcasting to all frequencies." Ho stood tall. He looked directly at the camera that would send his image across the stars. "My name is Captain Ho of the human medical vessel Horizon. In approximately 18 minutes, our ship will be destroyed by a military fleet. There are 40 warships against our one unarmed transport. We have no weapons. We have no way to defend ourselves. We came here only to bring medicine to sick people." He paused. His voice was steady. "We know we are going to die, but we want the galaxy to see what happens here. We want everyone to witness this. Not because we want revenge, not because we want war, but because the truth matters. Let history record what the Empire did here today. Let them explain to the galaxy why 40 warships were needed to destroy 15 humans carrying medicine." He looked at his crew one more time. "We are not warriors. We are healers, but we will not beg, we will not cry. We will face our death with dignity. That is the human way." He nodded too. She ended the broadcast. The bridge was silent. Outside, the stars still shone. Somewhere out there, billions of beings were receiving his message. They were watching. They were waiting. The fleet grew closer. Min stood up and walked to Ho. She put her hand on his shoulder. "That was well said, Captain." Ho smiled sadly. "I just wanted them to know the truth." "They will know," she said, "and they will remember." The countdown continued. 18 minutes became 15. 15 became 10. The warships filled the screen. They were massive and dark, covered in weapons that could tear the horizon apart in seconds. Ho sat in his captain's chair. His crew sat at their stations. No one ran, no one cried. They sat together and waited for the end. In the distance, the first weapons began to charge. The galaxy watched. The fleet moved like predators closing in on prey. 40 warships formed a perfect circle around the horizon. Their weapons pointed inward. There was no escape. There was nowhere to run. On the bridge, Captain Ho watched the screen. The largest ship was directly ahead. It was 3 times the size of the horizon. Its hull was covered with weapon ports. Each one could fire enough energy to destroy a small moon. 10 minutes until they reach optimal firing range, said. Her voice was quiet but steady. She had stopped crying. There was no point in tears anymore. Ho nodded. He pressed a button on his chair. All crew, this is the captain. Please gather in the main hall. I want to see everyone before the end. The crew came quickly. There were 15 people in total, engineers, doctors, pilots, and support staff. They were young and old. Some had families waiting at home. Some had no one. But they all wore the same expression now. They were scared, but they were not broken. Ho stood before them. The main hall was small and simple. It had no decorations. It had no windows. It was just a room where the crew ate their meals and shared their stories. Now it would be the place where they faced death together. You all know the situation, Ho said. I will not lie to you or give you false hope. We are going to die here today. They have chosen us to be their message to humanity. They want to show the galaxy that humans are weak, that we can be crushed without consequence. He paused and looked at each face. But I want you to know something. What we do in these final minutes matters. How we face death matters. The galaxy is watching us right now. Billions of beings are seeing our ship on their screens. They are waiting to see what humans do when there is no hope. A young engineer named Ho raised his hand. He was only 22 years old. He had joined the Horizon 6 months ago because he wanted to help people. Captain, what should we do? Ho smiled. We do what we came here to do. We help people. Until our last breath, we help people. But how? Asked another crew member. We cannot reach Colony. No, Ho agreed. But we can send them our medical data. We can transmit all our research, all our treatment plans, all our knowledge. If another ship reaches them later, they will have everything they need. Min stepped forward. I will prepare the medical files immediately. We can compress them and send them on a tight beam signal. Do it, Ho said. 1. I want you to record everything about our engine systems, every improvement you have made, every trick you have learned. Send it to the Engineering Academy on Mars. One nodded. His eyes were wet, but his voice was strong. They have been asking me for those notes for years. I always said I would send them later. I guess later is now. Ho continued, keep broadcasting. I want every second of this on record. I want the galaxy to see everything they do. Yes, Captain said. The crew moved with purpose now. They had jobs to do. They had things to finish. Death was coming, but they would not waste their final minutes in fear. On the bridge worked the communication systems. She sent the signal to every relay station within range. She broadcast on frequencies that had not been used in centuries. She made sure that no one in the galaxy could say they did not know what happened here. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Captain said, her voice surprised. We are receiving messages, hundreds of them, thousands. Ho looked at the screen. Messages were flooding in from every direction. They came from human colonies. They came from alien worlds. They came from ships traveling through distant space. What are they saying? Ho asked. Read from the screen. A message from the Terran colony on B. We are watching. We will not forget. Another from a merchant ship near the outer rim. Stay strong, Horizon. You are not alone. More messages appeared. They came from species that had never spoken to humans before. They came from governments and private citizens. They came from children and old people. They all said the same thing in different words. We see you, we are with you, we will remember. Ho felt something strange in his chest. It took him a moment to recognize it. It was pride. He was proud of his crew. He was proud of his species. He was proud of the beings across the galaxy who cared about 15 strangers on a doomed ship. Captain said, "There is a message from Earth, from the Human Council." "Show me," Ho said. A woman appeared on the screen. She had silver hair and dark eyes. She wore the formal robes of the Human Council. Her name was Mi Young, and she was the highest leader of human civilization. "Captain Ho," she said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes held fire. "The Human Council has received your broadcast. The entire human species is watching. We want you to know that your sacrifice will not be forgotten. Your names will be remembered forever." Ho bowed his head. "Thank you, Counselor, but we do not want monuments, we want peace. We want an end to this madness." "There can be no peace without justice," Mi Young said. "They have chosen war, they will receive it." The screen flickered and her image disappeared. Ho stared at the empty space where she had been. He did not want war. He had spent his life avoiding violence. But he understood now that some things could not be avoided. Some wrongs had to be answered. The fleet stopped moving. They had reached their positions. 40 ships hung in space like executioners waiting for the signal. The commander's face appeared on the main screen. His 4 eyes showed no emotion. His voice was flat and cold. "Human vessel, you have been found guilty of illegal entry into space. The sentence is death. Do you have any final words?" Ho stood. He looked at the alien face without fear. "I do," he said. "You think you are teaching humanity a lesson today, but you are wrong. You are the students and the lesson has not yet begun. When you destroy this ship, you will start something you cannot stop. You will wake a species that you do not understand. Humans are not like other races. We do not forget, we do not forgive, and we do not stop." The commander made his laughing sound again. Pretty words from a dead man. "Remember them," Ho said. "In the days to come, when you see what your actions have caused, remember that I warned you." The screen went black. The crew gathered on the bridge. 15 humans standing together. They held hands. They looked at each other with love and respect. These were their final moments, and they chose to spend them together. Min had finished sending the medical files. One had transmitted his engineering notes, had made sure the galaxy could see everything. They had done everything they could do. "It has been an honor," Ho said, "to serve with all of you." "The honor is ours, Captain," Min replied. The first ship fired. A beam of pure energy crossed the darkness of space. It struck the Horizon's hull and tore through it like paper. The ship shook violently. Alarms screamed. Lights flickered and died. More beams followed. 40 ships fired at once. The Horizon broke apart piece by piece. The bridge collapsed. The engines exploded. The medical supplies that were meant to save lives scattered into the void. In the final moment, Ho thought of his wife and daughter. He hoped they would be proud. He hoped they would remember him as a good man who tried to do good things. Then there was light, then there was nothing. The Horizon was gone. Across the galaxy, the broadcast continued for another 30 seconds. It showed the debris field where the ship had been. It showed the fleet floating among the wreckage. It showed 40 warships that had just murdered 15 unarmed humans. Then the signal ended. The galaxy fell silent. On 1,000 worlds, humans stopped what they were doing. They stood still. They watched their screens. Some cried, some screamed. Many did neither. They just stood in cold, terrible silence. In the Human Council chamber on Earth, Mi Young turned to her advisors. Her face was stone. Her voice was ice. "Contact every human colony," she said. "Contact every ally. Contact every ship with weapons. Tell them to prepare." "Prepare for what, Counselor?" an advisor asked. Mi Young looked at him. In her eyes was something that made him step backward. It was not anger. It was not grief. It was something older and darker. It was the look of a species pushed too far. "Prepare for war," she said. "They wanted to teach us a lesson. Now we will teach them one." The advisor swallowed. "What lesson is that?" Mi Young turned back to the screen. The debris of the horizon still floated in the darkness of space. "That humanity never forgets," she said, "and humanity never loses." The orders went out, ships began to move, soldiers began to march. Across every human world the same words spread like fire. Remember the horizon. They had wanted to make an example. They had succeeded beyond their wildest dreams, but the example they made was not the one they planned. They had shown the galaxy what happened when you pushed humans into a corner. Now the galaxy would see what happened when humans pushed back. The news spread across the galaxy in hours. Every species with communication technology heard about the horizon. Every world with screens showed the footage. The destruction of one small medical ship became the most watched event in galactic history. On the planet, a young alien named sat in a food hall and watched the broadcast with hundreds of others. They were a peaceful species. They had never fought a war in their entire history. They believed in trade and diplomacy. They thought violence was primitive. But as watched the horizon break apart, she felt something new. It was hot and heavy in her chest. It was anger. "They killed healers," she whispered. "They killed people who only wanted to help." The alien next to her nodded. "They have always been cruel, but this is different. This was murder for sport." On the planet, the colonists watched the broadcast in their hospital beds. 3,000 people, half of them sick with a disease that was slowly killing them. They had waited for the horizon. They had counted the hours until it arrived. Now they knew it would never come. A human woman named Bai worked in the hospital. She was one of the colony's few doctors. She had been saving medicine, stretching supplies, trying to keep people alive until help arrived. Now she stood in the main ward and watched the footage with her patients. "Doctor," a sick child asked, "are the ship people in heaven now?" Bai knelt beside the child. She did not know what to say. The medicine on the horizon could have saved this child's life. Now that medicine floated in space as frozen garbage. "They are somewhere safe," she said, "somewhere that can never hurt them." The child smiled weakly and closed her eyes. Bai stood and walked to the window. She looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, pieces of the horizon drifted in the darkness. Somewhere out there, Ho and his crew were gone forever. She made a promise. She would not let these people die. She would find a way to save them. She would honor the sacrifice of the horizon by finishing what they started. She did not know it yet, but help was already coming. On Earth, the Human Council met in emergency session. The chamber was full. Every representative was present. Every screen showed the same image, the debris field where the horizon had died. Counselor Mi Young stood at the center podium. Her face showed nothing. Her voice was steady, but everyone in the room could feel the weight of what was about to happen. 47 hours ago, she said, the Empire destroyed the medical transport vessel Horizon. 15 human citizens were killed. They were unarmed. They were on an approved route. They were carrying medicine to save lives. They murdered them anyway. She paused. The chamber was completely silent. For 300 years, humanity has tried to be peaceful. We have avoided wars. We have respected borders. We have followed every rule and signed every treaty. We believed that if we were good neighbors, others would treat us the same way. Her voice hardened. We were wrong. The galaxy does not respect goodness. It respects strength. They attacked us because they thought we were weak. They thought we would do nothing. They thought they could kill our people without consequence. She looked around the chamber. Every face watched her. Every ear listened. Today, we show them how wrong they were. A screen behind her lit up. It showed a map of the galaxy. Human space was marked in blue. Space was marked in red. Between them was a vast area of neutral territory. For the past 200 years, Mi Young said, humanity has maintained a secret military force. We call it the Deep Fleet. It was built in hidden shipyards far from any known routes. It was trained in the spaces between stars where no one could see. We hoped we would never need it. The screen changed. Now it showed ships, hundreds of ships, thousands of ships, warships of every size and class, carriers, destroyers, battleships, and weapons platforms, a fleet larger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Deep Fleet is now active, Mi-young said. 23,000 ships, 4 million soldiers, weapons that have never been used in combat. Gasps filled the chamber. No one had known. No one had even suspected. For 2 centuries, humanity had been building the largest military force in galactic history, and they had kept it completely secret. The Empire has approximately 90,000 military vessels spread across 200 star systems, Mi-young continued. They believe this makes them invincible. They believe no one can challenge them. She smiled, and it was not a kind smile. They are about to learn otherwise. The orders went out immediately. Across human space, ships that had been hiding in asteroid fields and gas clouds began to move. Soldiers who had been training in secret bases received their commands. Engineers who had spent their careers building weapons they hoped would never be used began final preparations. The first human warships reached space in 18 hours. Admiral Sung-ho commanded the lead fleet. He was an old man with white hair and scars on his face. He had spent 40 years preparing for this moment. He had hoped it would never come, but now that it had, he was ready. His flagship was called the Remembrance. It was the largest warship humanity had ever built. It was 3 kilometers long and carried weapons that could crack a planet in half. On its hull, painted in letters 20 meters tall, were 3 words: "Remember the horizon." "Admiral," his second-in-command said, "we are receiving a message from the border station. They are demanding we identify ourselves." "Open a channel," Sung-ho said. "Let them see us." The channel opened. An officer appeared on the screen. His 4 eyes went wide when he saw the human fleet behind Sung-ho. "What is this?" they demanded. "How many ships do you have?" "Enough," Sung-ho said. "You killed 15 of our people. You destroyed a ship carrying medicine for sick children. You thought we would do nothing." The officer's face changed. The arrogance disappeared. For the first time, Sung-ho saw fear in those 4 eyes. "The Empire will destroy you," the officer said, but his voice shook. "We have the largest fleet in the galaxy." "You had the largest fleet," Sung-ho corrected. "Now we do, and unlike your commanders, we do not kill unarmed civilians. We only kill soldiers." He leaned forward. "Run back to your masters. Tell them the humans are coming. Tell them we will give them one chance to surrender. After that, we will burn everything they have built and salt the ashes so nothing ever grows again." The officer opened his mouth to respond, but Sung-ho ended the transmission. "Admiral," his second-in-command said, "should we proceed?" Sung-ho looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, Ho and his crew had died for no reason except that they were human. Somewhere out there, sick children waited for medicine that would never arrive. Somewhere out there, an empire thought it could murder innocents without consequence. "Proceed," he said, "and make sure the galaxy watches. I want everyone to see what happens next." The fleet moved forward. 23,000 human warships crossed into space. Behind them, more ships were launching every hour. The full might of human civilization was now in motion. On 100 alien worlds, beings watched their screens and held their breath. They had seen the destroy the horizon. Now they would see what happened when humans responded. They had wanted to teach humanity a lesson. Class was now in session. The first battle lasted 17 minutes. The border fleet had 60 ships. They were the elite guards of the Empire. They had won 100 battles. They had never lost. Admiral Sung-ho gave them one chance to surrender. They refused. They laughed at him through the communication channel. They said humans were soft and weak. They said the Deep Fleet was a bluff. Then the shooting started. Human weapons were different from anything the galaxy had seen before. While other species built bigger guns, humans built smarter ones. Their missiles could think. Their energy beams could bend around shields. Their ships moved in perfect coordination, like dancers who knew every step. They fired first. Their weapons hit the human shields and did nothing. The shields glowed bright blue, absorbed the energy, and grew stronger. Then the humans fired back. The first ship exploded in a ball of white fire. Then the second. Then the third. The human fleet moved through the formation like a knife through water. Each ship knew exactly where to go. Each weapon knew exactly what to hit. 17 minutes later, 60 warships were debris. On his flagship, Sung-Ho watched the sensor screens. He felt no joy. He felt no satisfaction. He only felt tired. "Casualties?" he asked. "None, Admiral," his second-in-command reported. "Minor damage to 3 ships. All crews are safe." Sung-Ho nodded. "Send a message to the High Command. Tell them what happened here. Tell them this can stop any time they want. All they have to do is surrender and face justice for what they did to the horizon." The message was sent. The response came in 1 hour. The High Commander appeared on the screen. He was old even by standards. His gray skin was wrinkled. His 4 eyes burned with hatred. "You have won one small battle," he said. "It means nothing. The Empire has controlled this region of space for 10,000 years. We have crushed 100 species who challenged us. You are just another insect to be stepped on." Sung-Ho listened patiently. He had expected this response. Pride was a powerful thing. It made beings do stupid things. "We are not asking for your empire," Sung-Ho said. "We are asking for justice. Give us the officers who ordered the attack on the horizon. Give us the ships that fired on unarmed civilians. Accept responsibility for what you did. Then we can have peace." The High Commander laughed. It was an ugly sound. "Peace? You invade our space, destroy our ships, and ask for peace. No, there will be no peace. There will only be your complete destruction." The screen went black. Sung-Ho sighed. He turned to his officers. "Prepare for full invasion. Contact the Council. Tell them they have refused our terms." The war began in earnest. Over the next 30 days, human fleets attacked positions across their empire. They did not strike at civilian targets. They did not bomb cities or kill innocent people. They only attacked military bases and warships. This was important to Sung-Ho. He wanted the galaxy to see the difference between humans and They had killed healers. Humans killed only soldiers. The battles were short and one-sided. Commanders who had spent their careers believing they were invincible suddenly found themselves facing an enemy they could not beat. Human ships were faster, stronger, and smarter. Human tactics were unpredictable. Human soldiers fought with a fury that shocked their enemies. After 2 weeks, they had lost 12,000 ships. Humans had lost less than 300. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. Representatives from 100 species gathered to discuss what was happening. Many were afraid. If humans could do this to what could they do to everyone else? Ambassador Hannah represented humanity at the council. She was a small woman with gray hair and steady eyes. She had been a diplomat for 40 years. She had negotiated treaties and ended conflicts. But she had never faced anything like this. "The galaxy is concerned," said the council chairman. He was a member of the species, a tall creature with blue skin and no hair. "The humans have revealed a military force that no one knew existed. Many fear you intend to conquer us all." Hannah stood. She looked around the chamber at the frightened faces. "I understand your fear," she said. 17 days ago you saw us as a peaceful species, traders, scientists, healers. Now you see us as warriors. You wonder what changed." She paused. "Nothing changed. We have always been both. Humans can build hospitals and battleships. We can create art and weapons. We can heal the sick and destroy our enemies. We are capable of great kindness and terrible violence." She walked to the center of the chamber. They attacked a ship full of doctors and medicine. They killed 15 people who only wanted to help the sick. They did this because they thought we were weak. They thought we would not fight back. Her voice hardened. "They were wrong. When you hurt us, we hurt you back. When you kill our people, we burn your empire to the ground. This is not new. This is what humans have always been." She looked at the council chairman. "But I want to make something very clear. This war is with the alone. We have no quarrel with any other species. We do not want your planets. We do not want your resources. We only want justice for our dead." The chairman nodded slowly. "And when you have this justice, what then?" Hannah smiled. It was a tired smile, but it was real. "Then we go back to being healers. We go back to building ships that carry medicine instead of weapons. We go back to helping those who need help." "How can we trust this?" another representative asked. "You hid your fleet for 2 centuries. What else are you hiding?" Hannah turned to face the speaker. It was a representative who had been allowed to attend as an observer. "Yes, we hid our fleet," Hannah said, "because we hoped we would never need it. We knew that if we showed our strength, others would fear us. We would become targets. So we stayed quiet. We stayed peaceful. We tried to be good neighbors." She pointed at the representative. "And what did it get us? Your empire killed our people anyway. You proved that being peaceful does not make you safe. It only makes you a target." The representative said nothing. Hannah turned back to the chamber. "The human military exists to protect our people. Nothing more, nothing less. As long as no one attacks us, you will never see our warships again. But if anyone makes the same mistake they made..." She let the sentence hang in the air. The message was clear. Humanity was peaceful by choice, not by weakness, and that choice could change in an instant. Back in space, the war continued. Admiral Sung-ho pushed deeper into enemy territory. His fleet grew larger as more ships joined from human space. Now he commanded over 30,000 vessels. They fought desperately. They threw everything they had at the human advance, but nothing worked. Human shields absorbed their weapons. Human tactics predicted their movements. Human soldiers never retreated, never surrendered, never stopped. On the 30th day, Sung-ho's fleet reached the planet was called Prime. It was the center of the empire. 20 billion beings lived there. Massive cities covered its surface. Great shipyards orbited above it. This was where the orders to attack the horizon had come from. This was where justice would be delivered. Sung-ho looked at the planet on his screen. It was beautiful in a way. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. "Admiral," his second-in-command said, "they are requesting communication." "Accept it," Sung-ho said. The High Commander appeared on the screen again. He looked different now. The arrogance was gone. The pride was broken. He looked like what he was, an old man who had made a terrible mistake. "Admiral," the High Commander said, "I ask for terms." Sung-ho nodded. "The terms are simple. Surrender the officers who ordered the attack on the horizon. Surrender the commanders of the ships that fired on civilians. Accept full responsibility for the massacre. Pay compensation to the families of the dead. And never, ever attack an unarmed human vessel again." The High Commander closed his eyes. When he opened them, they were wet. "And if we refuse?" Sung-ho looked at him steadily. "Then I will turn your empire to dust. Not your people, not your children, but your military, your government, your pride. Everything that makes the empire powerful will be destroyed, and you will spend the rest of history as a lesson to others." The High Commander was silent for a long moment. "We accept your terms," he finally said. The war was over. The trials lasted 3 months. 12 officers stood before a galactic court. They were the ones who ordered the attack on the horizon. They were the ones who watched 40 warships destroy 15 unarmed humans. They were the ones who laughed as medical supplies scattered into the void. They were not laughing now. The court was held on a neutral station in deep space. Representatives from every major species attended. The galaxy wanted to see justice done. The galaxy wanted to see the pay for what they had done. The evidence was overwhelming. Communication records showed the officers planning the attack. Sensor logs showed them giving the orders. Video footage showed them celebrating after the horizon was destroyed. One by one, they were found guilty. One by one, they were sentenced to life imprisonment on a barren moon where they would have nothing but time to think about what they had done. The High Commander was among them. As guards led him away, he turned to look at the human representatives. His face showed nothing. His eyes were empty. "Was it worth it?" he asked. "All this destruction, all this death for 15 lives?" Ambassador Hannah stood. She walked toward him until they were face to face. "Every human life is worth a galaxy," she said. "Remember that. In the long years ahead, when you sit alone in your cell, remember that you brought this on yourself. You could have let one small ship pass. You could have shown mercy. Instead, you chose murder. And now you will pay the price forever." The guards took him away. He did not look back. After the trials, humanity began to rebuild. The war had been short, but it had changed everything. The galaxy now knew what humans were capable of. The galaxy now knew that the peaceful traders and healers could become warriors in an instant. Some species were afraid. They kept their distance from human space. They avoided human ships. They whispered about the deep fleet in worried voices. But other species drew closer. They had seen humanity fight for justice. They had seen humans refuse to attack civilians even when their enemies had done exactly that. They had seen strength tempered with honor. The government sent an ambassador to Earth. It was the first time they had ever contacted another species directly. The ambassador was young, the same alien who had watched the Horizon broadcast in a food hall on her. "We want to be your friends," she told the Human Council. "We saw how you fight. We saw how you win, but more importantly, we saw how you choose not to destroy those who cannot fight back. This is rare in the galaxy. This is precious." Other species followed. The who had once been neutral signed a mutual defense treaty with humanity. The Trading Federation opened its markets to human goods. The Science Academy invited human researchers to share their knowledge. The galaxy was changing, and at the center of that change was humanity. Admiral Sung Ho retired after the war. He went back to Earth and bought a small house near the mountains. He spent his days fishing in a quiet stream and watching the clouds move across the sky. One day, a young woman came to visit him. She was Captain Ho's daughter. She was 17 now, almost grown. She had her father's eyes and her mother's smile. "Thank you," she said, "for what you did." Sung Ho shook his head. "I did not do it for thanks. I did it because it was right." "My father would have hated the war," she said. "He believed in peace." "I know," Sung Ho said. "I read his file. I watched his final broadcast 100 times. He was a good man, a brave man. He faced death without fear because he believed in something greater than himself." The young woman was quiet for a moment. "I want to be like him," she said. "I want to help people. I want to heal instead of hurt." Sung Ho smiled. "Then do it. The war is over. The time for warriors is done. Now the galaxy needs healers again. It needs people like your father." She nodded and stood to leave. At the door, she turned back. "Admiral, do you think it will happen again? Do you think another species will attack us like they did?" Sung Ho thought about the question. He thought about the deep fleet, now hidden again in secret places between the stars. He thought about the soldiers who had fought and died. He thought about the future that stretched ahead like an unknown road. "Maybe," he said. "The galaxy is large and there are many who do not learn from history, but if it happens again, we will be ready. We will always be ready." She left. Sung-ho watched her walk down the mountain path until she disappeared among the trees. Then he went back to his fishing. On the planet, Dr. Bai celebrated a victory of her own. The disease that had threatened the colony was finally defeated. A second medical ship had arrived 3 weeks after the Horizon was destroyed. It carried the same supplies. It carried the treatment plans that Min had transmitted in the ship's final minutes. Every patient recovered. Every child survived. The sacrifice of the Horizon crew had not been in vain. The colony built a memorial in the center of their largest city. It was a simple stone pillar with 15 names carved into its surface. At the bottom, they added a message. They came to heal us. They died for us. We will never forget. Every year, on the anniversary of the Horizon's destruction, the entire colony gathered at the memorial. They told stories about the crew. They read Captain Ho's final words. They reminded each other that some humans had been willing to die so that strangers could live. Across the galaxy, similar memorials appeared. On Earth, in the plaza outside the Human Council building. On Mars, in the Engineering Academy where one's notes were now taught to every student. On 100 alien worlds where beings had watched the broadcast and been changed by what they saw. The Horizon became a symbol. It represented everything humanity wanted to be. Kind and strong, peaceful and dangerous, willing to help and willing to fight. 10 years after the war, a new ship was launched from Earth. It was a medical transport vessel, 3 times the size of the original Horizon. It was named the Ho, after the captain who had faced death with dignity. The ship's first mission was to deliver medicine to a distant alien world where a plague was killing thousands. The journey would take weeks. The route passed near several hostile territories, but no one worried. Everyone knew what happened to those who attacked human medical ships. Captain stood on the bridge of the Ho and looked out at the stars. She was young, only 30 years old, but she had trained her entire life for this moment. Set course for the system, she ordered. Maximum speed. People are dying and we have medicine to deliver. The ship moved forward. Around it, invisible and silent, 12 human warships followed as escort. They would stay hidden unless needed. They hoped they would never be needed. But they were ready. Humanity was always ready. The stars stretched ahead like diamonds scattered on black velvet. Somewhere out there, sick people waited for help. Somewhere out there, children needed medicine. Somewhere out there, the galaxy needed healers. And humanity answered the call. Just as they always had, just as they always would. The Ho sailed into the darkness, carrying hope to those who had none. Behind it, the memorial on Colony gleamed in the moonlight. 15 names carved in stone. 15 humans who changed the galaxy. Captain Ho, Navigator, Engineer 1, Dr. Min and 11 others whose courage had inspired billions. They had faced a fleet with nothing but their dignity. They had died so that others could live, and in doing so, they had taught the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. Humans are peaceful until you make them angry. Then they are anything but.